Hello, I am Annemie, and today we're going to be taking a look inside Morphite. This is, according to the Steam listings, a casual atmospheric first-person shooter, which is all about scanning and exploration, so we are going to have a quick look at it. I played it for maybe about an hour and a half yesterday. I'm not going to be able to guarantee there are going to be no story spoilers. The story isn't particularly... It's not a story-centric game, so I wouldn't be too worried about spoilers if you're planning on playing this. So a lot of what you do is inside this star map. You see that I am inside the Kyloposp system, something like that. And there is a space station up here, and there are a couple of planets. So yeah, that's the station, some planets. See that these are safe to visit, safe to land, and I've already visited them. And there are a whole load more systems in the world. The Steam listing says that 16 of these are hand designed, and the rest are all procedurally generated. Now, it's not free to go between systems. There's a fuel cost associated with it. Fuel will regenerate over time, so you're not actively stuck anywhere. But let's go to this story location, this nice green location here, and see if we can find one of those handcrafted planets. Well, it's good that we avoid crashing into asteroids. I hear that crashing into asteroids is not fun. So, yes, we need to go to Arkham, this mission location, so let's go. The first thing I'll say about this game is that while the graphics are simplistic and very low poly, it does look gorgeous. I really like this style. It's very minimalist, but the colours are vibrant enough that it's effective.
Someone needs to learn how to drive this thing. I thought you were driving.
Ah! Did I kill it? Kill it with fire! Yes, those flying things can be a bit irritating. As you see, this is a first-person shooter. Your ammo, if it's below 5, will...
That must be the library up there. Mr. Mason was right. This doesn't seem like the nicest of places. Now to figure out how to get up there.
The ammo will regenerate over time, and you can lock onto enemies with the right mouse button, so that you don't get any sort of precision aiming. But the shooting in this game is almost incidental to the other reason you're here, which is to scan things. I've got an injured Tozy Hesk there, or this one is a weak Helfen. And you scan these objects, and once you get back to one of your space stations, you can sell them for chunks. And what do chunks mean? Yes.
We can't cross here. This stuff looks deadly and disgusting.
Prizes.
There is a broken wall on the inside of that island. Try that instead.
Now you sell them to get chunks, and you can use them also potentially to upgrade your equipment and your ship. So let's head up this way. You'll also find minerals about which you can shoot. Hello, you. Come here. Old Nabutso. I am, of course, role-playing as a European explorer of old. Good, because that thing just apparently dropped some grenades. So this is mostly what the game experience is about. The game promises space combat. I've not seen any of that yet. I've seen upgrades for your ship. but no actual combat yet. You do find human enemies, and sometimes they are a bit of a pain, but this is mostly what you do. Bloody ion grenades. I want some actual pistol ammo. So it's very much a casual game, as it proudly admits to being. And that's great. I mean, the core gameplay of running around, trying to gather and scan various flora and fauna, that's quite cool. Some of the animals are really quite interestingly designed. I swear I found one wearing some sunglasses a while back. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing right now, but let's try grenading something, I think. Which is on my map up. I think I'm just facing a wall right now. Going this way. No, that looks like more... Oh no, that's the ground. But for me, one of the problems is that, say, we were to leave this world, which, if I could figure out how to get over there, there's a wire going there. He's up there. I think I've probably got to shoot that. Oh! No, no! There we go. What did that actually do? Didn't help me get across. What is that? I don't think that's anything. So, the design planets are actually pretty good. This isn't a good example of one, because I didn't actually check this one out before. Yeah, that's not doing anything. But the random ones, they can be a very mixed bag, as you might imagine. I would have much rather seen random generation and then possibly some form of... Nothing I can deal with. Random generation and then some form of stronger curation. Because you can find planets that you land on like, okay, I want to find some minerals. And you look at this planet and I'll actually be able to... And you find nothing there. You might find one different animal, or just lots of things that want to kill you, but they're all human, so you can't scan them for stuff anyway. So let's have a look at this star map. There's nothing else there, so... Can I go back there? Yes, I can, because I've recharged some fuel. So let's look at one of the two planets I was on literally right before recording this video. Let's go to this one. To Moxie. Mokes. Moshe, maybe? Something along those lines? Also, I read from the Steam page there's apparently a third-person view. I've got no idea how to access this. So yeah, this is one of the planets you can visit. These are things which... Apparently this one I haven't already scanned. Huh, last time I was here, I was looking around for things. I was scanning everything I found near me. And it had been stuff that I'd already scanned. There are various different types of essentially the same basic design, which means that you want to be scanning pretty much everything you come across, so... Because you've already got all the diseased ones, but I've not actually managed to find any huge visual clues necessarily between different ones. So with trees you might be able to tell the difference between a young and an old one just based on size. But then there are also rare ones which don't really look any different. It would be nice maybe if they'd had a strongly different colour scheme. This world is just kind of empty. It's desert and it's dull, so it's the sort of thing which you can quite happily play if you're listening to something, to an interesting podcast. It's very much a background game. But then at points it decides, hey, I'm going to do some story bits. And you feel obligated to listen to these story bits, but again, they are they're not very good. So, here is where I'm going to get the most spoilery. At one point, my character, I forget her name, decided to just go and run off and explore things by herself, stealing her mentor's ship, which she'd borrowed on previous occasions, to go off a couple of star systems away and do her own thing. She got into trouble and she came back. And what would you imagine would happen in that case? Well, like in The Wild Rover, I might imagine that there'd be some form of castigation, but then, you know, eventual acceptance and, hey, let's work together and sort this out. This seems to be some pretty pickle that you've got yourself into. But no, it was just emotionless and, oh, well, okay, you stole my presumably very expensive ship and ran off by yourself. I'm not going to really mention this at all. I'm just going to go, oh, where were you? Well, it's just incongruous, and the voice acting it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's not bad, but it's also not exciting. It's not. This is a world where you're constantly exploring and finding new things. Like that design, I think that's really quite cool. It's basically a rhino, but I think it's pretty well done. And you want the voice acting to almost demonstrate a sense of wonder about these things. But it doesn't, and it's just a bit of a disappointment, really. So, in conclusion, I think, get this game if you want something passive to do whilst looking at lovely coloured environments and interestingly designed clipping. Interestingly designed flora and fauna with like boxes with moustaches and so on. Don't get this game if you want something story driven. Don't get it if you want tight gunplay. Don't get it if you want good crafting or upgrades or anything along those lines. I think that this game represents good stuff. I think it could develop in interesting ways, although I don't think it's an early access. Yeah, it's not an early access game. This is a completed game, so we shouldn't really expect more features, but DLC might happen to fill up the world possibly a bit more. So, thank you for listening to me today. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a like and subscribe, and that will help me make more of these. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.